You'll have to bear with us, the ladders and the missing vents and all. They're still painting and working up here, but as you can tell, it's much brighter. It's come along nicely, so just bear with us a little longer, and hopefully we'll get everything back in shape as far as the auditorium. You know, different people like different kinds of movies. My wife likes chick flicks. Message in a bottle. You know, if they gave a message for corny chick movies, that one would have won. I sat through that thing. Well, I slept through much of it, but anyway, nonetheless, that's the kind of movie she likes. She can't stand the Three Stooges or other educational programming. Now, Don Queen over here, he's a John Wayne aficionado. He would rather watch John Wayne than eat. Some of you are into science fiction. You know, I never was a big Star Wars person. I mean, they're okay, but I just never was. I like war movies. And in my opinion, the best war movie ever made was Saving Private Ryan with Tom Hanks. You know, I looked that thing up. 1984, most of this group of kids, they weren't even around when that movie came out. July 1984, directed by Steven Spielberg. Great movie about the Normandy Beach invasion on D-Day and the events that followed. And if you saw that movie, it was so realistic. You know, I caught myself flinching and ducking as bullets whizzed across the screen and as soldiers fell coming on the beach. And that movie, it was terrifying. And I remember talking to Carl Cossin. Many of you remember Carl. You know, he was in 2 different wars and saw a lot of these battles. And I asked him, I said, Carl, was it really that bad? And he said, yes, that movie was just exactly the way those invasions were. But you know, as you watch those amphibious landing crafts coming up in the shallows, and as those doors opened and as those thousands of young men jumped out into that waist-deep water and began to wade to shore, you could see them being mowed down by machine gunners up in the rocks. And there was nothing these guys could do because they had to get through the water, they had to get to the beach, they had to cross the beach and then go up the hill to where the machine guns are nestled in those concrete bunkers. Not much of a target. And if you didn't know history, if you didn't know how it worked out, and you watched the first of that movie, you'd say, they're not going to make it. They're all going to die. There is no way they're going to take that beach, get over those rocks, and head inland. But of course, we know what happened. A lot of men fell, wounded, a lot of men died. But eventually, they won the war. And you say, well, what does Tom Hanks and Private Ryan have to do with a devotional talk? Simply this. Our Christian life is a lot like that Normandy Beach invasion. We look around today and the devil is mowing down Christians on every hand. We are losing battle after battle. We're losing the battle with morality. We're losing the battle with evolution, belief in God, atheism, and on, the things that you just want to shake your head and say, what is this world coming to? I mean, just look at what's on television now. Listen, many of you remember years ago, they couldn't say anything on the radio because the FCC would fine them or even shut them down. And now, my mind just went blank. Who's the long-haired, fuzzy, curly-haired guy with glasses, Mark? Yeah, Howard Stern, man. Whew. You need a filter to listen to that guy. Nothing is said. And most people don't even think about it. That's how far we have slipped. And you say, the devil's winning on every hand. But you know, ultimately, and Paul calls the Christian life a warfare. It's called a battle. We are soldiers of Christ. And sometimes people want to just give up. Hey, we're not going to win. The devil is winning. We're losing battle after battle. But you know, the book of Revelation holds out hope. As we read and study the book of Revelation, which is designed to encourage persecuted Christians to cause them not to give up, the ultimate message is, ultimately, Jesus Christ and his followers are going to win the war. We may lose some battles. We may lose some skirmishes with Satan. And there's a lot of casualties in this warfare, sadly. But if we just keep on, if we just keep hammering away, just like those soldiers did on Normandy Beach and the other beaches on D-Day, we will be victorious. And the book of Revelation tells us Jesus will be victorious. Satan is going to be defeated. The followers of Satan are going to be defeated. And following that, victorious Christians are going to share in the glories of heaven, while those who have followed the devil are going to be punished in an eternal hell. It's as simple as that. And I guess the take-home message for this is don't become discouraged. And I know that's easier said than done as we look about it. And even within the church, we see congregations going off into apostasy, and we see congregations doing things that if you had told me 25, 30, 40 years ago the church would be doing, I'd say, no way, you're crazy. That will never be in the church. And yet we're seeing things taught, seeing things practiced, seeing things tolerated and allowed that just continue to boggle my imagination. And I confess sometimes as a preacher you get discouraged and you say, why are we battling? We're losing. You ever get the feeling that you're just beating your head against the wall? We need to study Revelation again, because the whole message, we will be victorious. Sooner or later, we're going to win the war with Satan. Satan's going to be banished into eternal punishment along with his followers. And the faithful soldiers of Christ who have endured will receive that crown of life the Lord promises. So don't give up. Don't be discouraged. Just keep plugging away. Just keep doing what God would have you to do. And in the words of Revelation chapter 2 and verse 10, be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee the crown of life. That's our goal. That's what we're working toward, isn't it? Tonight, if you've not begun living for Christ, if you've not begun that Christian journey, let me encourage you to do so right now. Don't wait till Sunday. Don't say, I'll do it later. Step out to the aisle, come down, make that good confession that Jesus is the Son of God, having repented of your sins, and being immersed in the waters of baptism for the forgiveness of your sins. And begin that Christian battle. Join in the battle, knowing that victory will ultimately be ours. Tonight, if you're subject to this invitation of Christ, if you need to respond, will you come while we stand and we sing?